All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. I wanted to make this over the weekend, but this is the second half of the weed sector review. So I don't know if I'm getting too aggressive, but my goal is to cover 2, 4, 6, 7 stocks on this one, all right? And most of them are actually some of the US multi-state operators. So on the last video, I'll even just show it again, all right? MSOS, I have been wildly bullish on this, all right? Again, this is an ETF. This is not supposed to be moving a lot, right? So if I'm bullish about the overall ETF, you gotta believe I'm loving a lot of the individual MSOs, you know what I mean? From there, okay, OGI has been a real interesting one, made the big run, but clearly resistance stopped it right here. And I think that's a little bit of an echoing pattern across a lot of these. Some of these I've covered before, some I haven't. The ones I've covered before, it really just got caught up on some sort of resistance. But and then Sandal, SNDL. SNDL is very much mimicking Tilray, and that'll be kind of my main thought on that one. But before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad. Look, anything you can do helps me so much with these YouTube algorithms, especially if you can actually share. My social medias are not as big as most of yours, and yeah, the power of one little click on that share does wonders, okay? So let's get into it. Let's look at OGI, and look, I've been bullish on OGI for quite a bit, actually. I want to say pushing a little bit more than a month, right? We were very much hunting the break of this 100 moving average. And really, I think this 100 moving average should echo the 200 moving average that we're at, okay? So what does that mean? Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, basically it took until the 6th time before we actually were able to escape it, right? Like we get over, couldn't go, get over, couldn't go, get over, couldn't go, finally go, right? As I zoom out, oh my goodness, wow. As I zoom out all the way since September 2021, we have been well under that 200 moving average line. All right. I mean, completely under is actually a more fair statement, if you don't mind the aggressiveness of that sounding, right? But yeah, I mean, this 200 moving average, this purple line, has been an impossibility. One single day over it before this last kind of window in January, right? So you got to imagine that 200 moving average is a hard line. Let's just go back to the 100, right? We kind of hit it here, we do a bunch there, we kind of hit it here, we actually go over it here, we do a bunch there, we hit it here, we hit it here, and then all that 5 before the 6 take. There were a lot of moments on that 100 moving average before it kind of ran to the 2, right? So again, this was a beautiful move. Looks like the resistance was just too much, right? And look, yes, this was able to get over, but couldn't confirm. Yes, this was able to get over, and yeah, that's a green candle after it, but doji never counts, right? You need confirmation before you can believe that there's more. So what are we looking at immediately? Look, we're looking at a really interesting chart here because, again, if you watch my videos, I always say if you want to be above the 8 and the 20, these two lines, they are your worst enemy. All right, let me find this is a beautiful you can't get over the 8, can't get over the 8. You finally get over the 8, but then the 20 slaps you down, 20 slaps you down, 20 slaps you down, right? Otherwise, you start to bounce on the 8, then hopefully use the 20 to go back up over it, right? So right now, it seems like we're trying to hold the 20 moving average, which is a good thing. I am seeing the 50 moving average come up. You know, the 20 is actually still kind of coming up. It really is a matter of 2 things, all right? And really, I think ultimately, it's the 200 moving average. as long as we can stay over that what is that, $1.50 give or take, right? Because look, you can see it's definitely on its way down still a little bit, but nothing too crazy, right? As long as we can stay over $1.50, stay over that 200 moving average, I'll stay overall bullish. Because again, I'm overall bullish on weed for this year. I am. I really think that this election year is going to be good for weed. I think there's going to be some really good headlines. I think some losing presidential candidates are going to make some crazy swings, and one of them might be weed, right? Like, I'm excited, and usually I very much hit eject on my bullish thoughts on weed. I'm holding them a little bit more this year, and so far it's been doing me well, is what I'd say. So, yeah, I think that's a good view on the daily. Look at this, big view on the weekly. Oh man, and look at me zoom out, right? That same issue we talked about on that 200 moving average on the daily is very much echoed on the 50 moving average on the weekly. All right, so again, not an easy line to get over, let alone the fact that we really haven't been over it since, again, that same September 2021 timing, right? So look, OGI is at a very, very important resistance moment. If it could get over this, if it could get over this, oh man, it could make a real good move. Do I think it's going to get over it? Look, I'll be honest with you. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's a little too 50-50 for me to like make a real educated thought. It's obviously still really early in the week, so I do want to see where the weekly closes among the 50, right? But 185 is the money line. If we can get over 185, I think there's a lot more reason to believe. I think you can argue that 175 might be an interesting money line. For me, set the criteria a little bit higher. It never really hurts, okay? OGI, look, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree, all right? Now we move on to SNDL. You know I love calling this sandal, and I say that with love. So I have not covered this one in a while, and to my SNDL faithful, I actually sincerely apologize. MSOS has actually been doing a lot better with the views, and I wasn't expecting that. But look, the first thing I can easily see without even having looked at the charts in that long was Tilray. Tilray looks exactly the same. This inability to get over the 8 moving average since this Tuesday earnings aftermath, all right? SNDL did not drop earnings this day. There was absolutely no reason for it to go down with it. This one has been. And that one's, I think, a little bothersome to me, because one thing I talked about when I was covering Tilray was the fact that other weed stocks were doing well and not following the leader. This one is still following the leader just a little bit too much for comfort. Because again, as far as I've seen, let me know if I'm missing something or some headline, Pat, but I have seen nothing that has justified SNDL dropping this much. All I'm really seeing is an exact same mimic of Tilray. And again, that's a little disappointing. It actually really is. And, you know, maybe it's the fact that this one's also Canadian, and maybe it's the fact that, like, I don't know. I really don't know. But like I said, one thing I was very, very happy to see was, I mean, I'm echoing myself. This one's just following too much and too much for comfort. Because again, with Tilray, I am concerned. I am, you know, I'm not screaming, you know, horrible things, kind of like I just said with OGI. I'm holding a little bit more of my overall bullishness, a little bit more than I used to, but that's getting worrisome, and in some ways, so is this, okay? As I zoom out, this 140 line has been a crazy line. We've talked about this 140 line for a really long time, and really it reminds me of what I echoed on CGC. This 455 line has been a beast for CGC. That line right there, the 140 line, has been a beast for SNDL. And what does that basically mean? Look, we bounce, man, we bounce, we bounce, we bounce still. I often call these things like a game of Jenga. You can only pull so many little blocks from an area before it's too weak. Generally, you can only bounce so many times before the line has to give, and man, this line is not giving up. So got to love that line right there, all right? But yeah, I think the Tilray copycat is by far the most bothersome thing, unless I missed a headline where you know it justifies it. Again, talked a little bit about resistances in the beginning, right? But more than anything, I'm actually ignoring that a little bit and echoing the Tilly Tuesday earnings bad day and then the follow. So let me know your thoughts, let me know your opinions, let me know if I missed something. Otherwise, let's move into the US side, CURLF. Okay, Curaleaf Holdings. This is beautiful. It's really funny. On some stocks, I don't get too many decimals. On this one, oops, hold on. You can see it in the box over there. I get so many decimals, so it's kind of hilarious. But listen, couple things, all right? The first real one is this very much looks like MSOS, all right? From the big peak to the drop to the continued uptrend right now, right? Again, Curaleaf is a big name in the multi-state operators, right? And as I've said, I am bullish on MSOS if you watch my video over the weekend, and you gotta believe a lot of that carries into the individual multi-states, right? And look, we are coming to a peak. We are riding the 8 moving average like a champion. We've actually used the 20 moving average a little bit here too. And really what I like is we have a nice positive MACD, a really low and healthy RSI. Look, like not that long ago, we were at an RSI of 80. This has still got a ways to go before it gets to 80. You know what I mean? So I don't know if we're gonna break this 540 line, right? 538, whatever. What I would love to have happen is it gets over, bounces, and goes. That's what I would love. Give me a second. I'm gonna pause this. I've done this before. It works well. Hold on. Okay, I am back. So this is a screenshot of that earnings. You know what? Let me do it again just so we can see the actual like lines and numbers. All right. So again, because I think that this 65 is going to go to 80, then come down, then go back up, I think what we'll see is this thing go here, here, maybe even one more, and then go. I would obviously love it if it went on this one. But yeah, I think this is going to go from a resistance to a support to a takeoff and bounce. That's my working guess. So yeah, basically something like this. Bloop, bloop, and then up instead of down. All right. So look, I'm liking this, and it's gonna be the echoing comment across a couple of these next ones, right? Because again, if you are looking at some of the top multi-state operators and you are seeing MSOS climb. MSOS actually finally makes a nice candle. We need to confirm, right? And this isn't an MSOS thing, but we're over this 908 line. Next one up is nice, and it's oof, red, green, oof. You know what I mean? So, Curaleaf. Yeah, right? I mean, what more can I say here? Where are we on the weekly? Where are we on the oof? So lovely weekly. So real lovely weekly. And really what I'm seeing is an attempt at getting over the 100 moving average. I say attempt because, look, it's still early. Hopefully this candle continues to rise. And like I said, maybe even push to that 540, right? But that's a good candle after a couple dojis. Give me one more just to believe, and yeah, I'm going to start to believe that we're getting over this 100 moving average. And hey, you know the rhyme. If we break the 100, the next expectation is going to be the 200. And I'm not here to talk about $7 just yet, but woof, let's see what happens. I'm liking Curaleaf. I am. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Otherwise, TCNNF Trulieve. What more can I say? What more can I say? And it's weird. I don't know if I'm going to chapter all these together or not. But again, MSOS, up, down, takeoff. Trulieve, TCNNF, up, down, takeoff, right? When the ETF is doing well, you just got to start going in there and finding those individual ones that are going well too, and more than likely doing better. Because again, an ETF has a mix of a bunch of things, right? Trulieve is taking off, right? You can argue better, you can argue worse than Curaleaf. End of the day, I mean, they're literally doing the same thing, right? Not even arguable. Yeah, Trulieve is taking off just a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where they're both doing well. I think this one's obviously pushing a lot of the profits. I think more for MSOS. And look, I mean, damn. Oh man, I can see why I did this. Look, I'm gonna draw a couple other lines, but between here and here, there's a whole lot of just green, 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 red, 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 red. Man, this thing could make a real interesting move, and I feel like that's where I would make my next line. 1090. Where are we compared to that? All right, maybe $10 slows it down. You can see I'm clicking right now at $9.99. Again, there's a lot to like here. Again, I'm liking MSOS as a sustainable. This is just looking sustainable. Look at the weekly, the same 100 moving average thing we were talking about on Curaleaf. Damn. Wow. There's a lot to like. What else can I say? There's a lot to look. Sometimes things are so obvious that like you don't need my technicals to like, you know what I mean, right? But 999 is maybe gonna stop it. I didn't draw it though. All right, 1090 is basically my next line up. I am loving those two. It is adding to my MSOS overall bullishness. CRLBF should be, and it is Cresco Labs. Okay, so let's zoom in just a little bit here. This one isn't quite getting over resistance as well as we've wanted. However, this one is still looking all right is almost an understatement, but we're going to call it all right for now. So one thing I don't like is when the moving averages are too tight. And I can see this purple, blue, and red one are essentially going just completely horizontal on this $1.66 line. All right, from there the 8 and the 20 kind of go up and down, and like we're tightening. This makes sense that it's a little bit harder to escape, and it hasn't just yet. But I think the positive MACD, the healthy RSI, the strength coming off the other two we just looked at, as well as MSOS as a whole, I think this is going to copycat the rest. I do. Clearly, you know, this is the line to watch. What's going to be our money line? Let's give us a money line. That's our money line. $2.10. $2.09 if you're really greedy, but like give it an extra penny. Why not? Get me into 210. We're only 5 cents away from that too, but get me there. Get me to believe we've escaped the moving averages, and yeah, this thing should keep going up like the rest, right? Oh man, almost identical to Trulieve, where like I'll draw this line, sure. I'll draw that one. Look at that. It basically hits the peak here and peak there. It seems like 260 is next. Break 210, and I think you'll have another 50 cents more. That's more than 20% right there. Cresco, I'm liking it actually a lot. This next one I don't know very well. CBSTF. Yep. Ooh, this one I don't like too much. Oh, this one I don't like that much at all, actually. Yeah, I'm actually going to skip this one. I don't like this one. I would not touch this one until it got over 65 cents. 65. You know, I'm going to set an alert for that. Give me 65. I wouldn't mind. Give me 66. I'll take an extra penny. Why am I being greedy? Give me 66 cents. I'll set that alert. I don't think I'd want to be in this one any lower. I'm going to go ahead and skip that one. VRNOF. This is the last one. Oh, look at this one. Again, this one looks like the other ones. I actually wish I put this one ahead of the other ones. I don't know this one very well, Verano. But again, this looks more like Trulieve and Curaleaf than it does Cresco. So that's a good thing. This thing is moving up. This thing's escaping the moving averages. This thing has actually already gotten over the peak right here as well. So there isn't a lot I need to say here. Let me know if there are any specific questions you want to hear. But yeah, MSOS and MSOSs are looking great. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Otherwise, as always, hey, thank you.